My 25F boyfriend, 25M, of a year really wants me to move into his apartment but won't give me any space for my biggest hobby. My boyfriend and I have a really great relationship. We are long distance, 5 hours drive, but recently he asked me to move into his apartment. I was very excited because I had been hoping for that for a while. But, before I do, lots of things need to get sorted out, transferring my job to his town, paperwork so my dog can live with us, transferring my professional license to a new state, finding a doctor in the area, etc. So I am not going to be officially moved in and on the lease for probably 3-ish months, but we got the ball rolling on getting these things sorted out. His apartment is pretty small but expensive due to the area, so we have a budget where I pay 30% of the bills because I make 30% of our combined income, which we both think is fair. I really love jigsaw puzzles, they're my main hobby. I want to bring my art and puzzle desk when I move in. However, there is extremely limited space currently. His furniture is all mismatched as he just moved in a couple months ago himself, and we are slowly getting actual furniture. But I asked him if we could get rid of a table in the kitchen for me to put my desk and art stuff, because if the table wasn't there it would be a perfect area for mine. He doesn't want to. I think he's being unreasonable about this because the table is not used for anything, and has no sentimental value. It doesn't match anything, my table does, and he was planning to get rid of it anyway in the future. I really don't know why he doesn't want to. I told him anything I buy for that area will come out of my pocket and he doesn't have to worry. I should include that his reasoning is because we might want to use that table for eating or something, but we have never eaten there and there are other places we do. So right now I am kinda concerned about not having any area for my own hobby when I move in. I feel like I deserve a space since I am paying what we both agree is a fair amount, and I do a lot of the housework already. I also spend a lot of time on these puzzles, and I don't want to have to do them on the coffee table because he'd probably complain about them getting in the way all the time. Also I should mention that I can't just use the current table for my puzzles as it is not suited for the stuff I would use it for. Just was wondering if anyone had any suggestions for how to talk to him about this. Too long didn't read : boyfriend wants me to move in and I think he's being unreasonable about not giving me any space to do puzzles, which is my biggest hobby. I think there is a lot we don't know. You say that the apartment is small, so I suppose the kitchen is small too. I, for example, cook a lot and would not want anything in the kitchen what is not cooking related. What if there are splatters on your puzzles? Maybe he uses the surface for prep. I agree that there need to be a compromise. But if he does not have designed area for his hobbies, say gaming room, then I do see why he might not be okay with you taking over quite a space for your hobby when he has none. The too long didn't read of this really should be I'm thinking of moving into my boyfriend's place, but it's too small for the two of us. What should we do? And the answer is find a bigger place together. Okay, I'm confused. What kind of kitchen table is this? A coffee table would be usable, if inconvenient, but the kitchen table is impossible to use. That's sod. This sounds more like to me that the kitchen table could work but it's too large to fit the desk and other art supplies, so you want to replace it with a smaller table. And your BF is resistant because now they are imagining the entire kitchen space taken up by your hobbies exclusively. I think the best solution here is to find a new apartment with a layout that is better suited to your needs as a couple. If my guess is above our right, I can understand why your BF wouldn't necessarily be cool with the entire kitchen space becoming your hobby area. And while yes, you are paying rent and carrying your weight, it still doesn't seem right necessarily that the rest of the common areas are shared, but then you also have an entire space that's really just usable for you. And even if it's not used frequently, it's not unreasonable to want a kitchen space to remain a kitchen. You are long distance and don't know if he uses it when you're not around more frequently. Or maybe he's envisioning being able to have people over more once the pandemic ends. Small apartments are a huge compromise when living together, and you may need to give up some of your preferences on having exactly the space you want for your hobby. Why can't you use his existing kitchen table for your puzzles? Or just get a new dining table that you can use for both dining and puzzles? I'm into art and my sister is into puzzles. Neither of us has room in our houses for a special table. I have a tabletop easel and she has a porta puzzle which we can use on top of our dining tables, and put away when we want to eat at the tables. It sounds like that's what you need as a compromise. How can I, 26F, gradually ease my anxious partner, 29M, into first-time sex? My significant other and I have never had sex in the nearly 3 years we've been together. We're both reserved, extremely introverted personalities who have found a deep, loving connection in one another, but our affections have always been non-sexual, nearly fully clothed. I've felt ready for a while, but he hasn't. Last year, I asked for advice on a frustrated post. Can't link, but feel free to look at my post history for more context, trying to figure out what the hang-up has been. He is a very cautious, anxious person and there has been a question of whether this plays into it or if he is asexual/disinterested in sex. We've been essentially living together for the last few months and it's clear there has been a huge growth in trust and attachment to the relationship on his side. He tells me he is sexually interested in me and does not want to be complacent in our level of affection right now, but he is anxious about the unknown, self-conscious, and fears disappointing me. One weekend, I asked if we could try rubbing my body on top of his, through thin clothing. To my surprise he agreed. I made sure it wasn't pressured, and for the very first time we went to the bed for the purpose of intimacy. It was awkward of course, but I made sure to regularly check in to make sure what we were doing was okay with him. He closed his eyes and just held me around my waist while I put gentle pressure between us down there and it felt like a dream. It felt like finally there had been some kind of breakthrough. I'm asking for help on how to progress forward from this because it's clear that my initiative is vital to anything happening at all. When asked what are some smaller things he would be comfortable with us doing, he has absolutely no ideas. He's also unable to answer about fantasies, turn-ons, etc. Yet, he's okay with me continuing to make suggestions, though he may decline them. I'm just terrified of messing things up and making him feel resentful of me or sex. Being super inexperienced and uncreative with this, I'm open to any vanilla ideas that could very gently get him more physically comfortable. I'd especially appreciate perspectives from anyone who has been or knows of someone hesitant getting into sex before. Even better if from any guys out there or anyone on the asexual spectrum. Too long didn't read. My partner is very anxious about having any form of sex for the first time. I need suggestions on how to help him become more physically comfortable and slowly introduce sex into our relationship without making it feel pressured. Edit. First of all, thank you everyone for all your thoughts. I am reading all of them. Even if you only say it's normal/abnormal, I appreciate everyone's perspective. Some things that have been asked a few times. Regarding kissing, we kiss, but I've found that he doesn't let it continue into making out/deep kissing. It was not until recently he admitted that sometimes he just doesn't feel like kissing. Even though I was disappointed, I tried to positively reinforce him for telling me and being honest because in the past he'd stay quiet or get irked when I'd ask him how he felt about it. Regarding sexual abuse/trauma, none from what I can tell. I'm his first relationship and physical encounter with anyone. He had a very comfortable childhood with loving parents. New information I found out just last night. He's apparently afraid of getting his genitals hurt/injured when I put pressure on the area with my body. This is surprising because I thought I've been trying to be very gentle already. We're both quite thin people, about the same size, and he says it's not because I'm heavy. Seems he's insanely sensitive in that area. I have tried manually feeling him over undergarments and he does seem to get a little hard from that. Not afraid of getting hurt when I try manual touch, but he's still slightly uncomfortable and trying to get used to it. I'm pretty stumped about why he feels the way he does about these things. It just seems like so much to unpack that he just isn't reflecting on. He is very lucky to have such a thoughtful and considerate partner. X. I would really look for therapy, because this sounds more than only anxiety. Where is he afraid for? What is holding him back? Does he masturbate? Maybe start with getting a copy of a book such as The Guide to Getting It On. Great suggestion. I'll try to get this book. I hope it's friendly to complete in experience. Was he raised religious? This isn't very surprising to me as someone from a deeply controlling religious background. Abstinence is frankly toxic and has actively ruined relationships I've had. Yeah, he was raised and attended private Catholic school all the way through high school, but isn't religious now. I've asked him if abstinence plays into any of this and he's responded that he doesn't give a fuck about any of that stuff. Sometimes wonder though if there is some level of subconscious sexual repression though based on such a sheltered upbringing. This sounds like more of an anxiety thing than an asexual thing. He could be asexual, but it sounds more likely that his extreme anxiety is just killing any libido he has. Would he be willing to let you just non-sexually massage him? Like a back massage is a great way to ease into pleasurable contact and get comfortable with exposed skin. Maybe even just start by massaging his hands, move to forearms, and see if you can just get to shirt-off contact. My partner is an asexual who likes back massages a lot, but your mileage may vary. From an anxiety standpoint, try to get at what about sex is so anxiety-inducing. Is it the unfamiliar sensations, vulnerability, performance or expectation anxiety, lack of knowledge, etc.? Have you expressed what sex means to you, why you like it and feel it's an important step for you as a couple? Might be worth looking into couples therapy for this if he has a lot to unpack here. How would I, 22M, go about educating my sister, 17F, about safety without it being too awkward? Hey everyone, just using a throwaway because this is a topic I'd rather keep anonymous, smiley face. I really did not know how to word my question, so I apologize if it's unclear. For context, we are Middle Eastern and although our parents are chill, sex is still a taboo topic and they never had the talk with us. My parents don't really care what I do because I'm a guy, but they obviously have the double standards on my sister, so them knowing anything is not an option. The other day my sister, 17F, asked me to drive her to a walk-in clinic and I usually don't ask why because her business is her business, but I asked if it was an appointment because of the wait time. She told me she wanted to pick up birth control. Me and her are super close, and although I was a bit shocked, I just said okay and felt even a tiny bit happy/relieved that she was looking out for her own safety and being responsible. I guess because she asked that, I decided to finally have a talk with her and told her I won't ever judge or ask for anything personal and that if it ever came to it, abortion/needing plan B/an unwanted pregnancy, to come to me and I will drive her myself with no questions asked. Then kept stressing that it's her personal life and that she deserves privacy, but to never be shy in case she wanted to ask anything about safety. Normally, I wouldn't feel awkward discussing anything to my girlfriends, but as a brother, I felt awkward talking to my sister about all this. And as a brother, I of course sometimes worry for my sister's safety and I still want to stress to her that she has to make sure the guy is wearing protection for numerous reasons and such. I guess that I want to go more in depth because I didn't when we first talked about, but I'd feel so awkward bringing it up and just want to know how to bring it up again without it being too awkward. Too long didn't read. Sister wanted me to drive her to get BC. We began talking about safety but I felt too awkward going into detail, and just wanted to know how to have a full in-depth conversation without bringing it up awkwardly.